The first thing I remember is the sound of music. Heavy bass, laughter, the clinking of glasses. The kind of party where everyone's either drunk or pretending they aren't. But none of it mattered, because in that moment, I wasn't hearing any of it. All I could feel was Maverick's breath on my neck. It was hot, soft, and devastating. His lips hovered close. So close I swore I could feel the ghost of them against my skin. I was standing in the far corner of the crowded living room, shadows half hiding us, while people danced a few feet away. My heart beat like a drum inside my chest, faster than the music. I should have stepped away. Anyone could have seen us. But when Maverick leaned down, his voice a low growl against my ear, I froze. "You have no idea what you do to me," he whispered. I shivered so hard my drink nearly slipped from my hand. That was the moment I realized my body wasn't mine anymore. It was his. Hours earlier, when I first walked into that party, I hadn't expected any of this. I wasn't even sure why I came. Crowds weren't really my thing, but Maverick had convinced me. He always did. He was the kind of guy who made no sound like a joke. One look into his dark brown eyes, and I'd find myself saying yes to anything. He showed up at my place earlier that evening, messy hair, dark haze blue t-shirt stretched over his chest, stubble on his jaw, making him look like he'd just stepped out of some magazine. "Come on," he said, grinning. "Don't make me go to this thing alone." And I went. At the party, Maverick never left my side. He moved through the crowd like he owned the place, but his hand brushed mine every time we walked through the hallway. He leaned close to tell me jokes over the music, his lips always grazing my ear, his breath warm against my skin. By the third time, I couldn't tell if I was laughing at his joke or just gasping for air. We stood by the drinks table. His arm brushed mine again, and I caught him looking at me, not at my face, but at my mouth. My stomach flipped so hard I had to look away. Later, when the heat inside got unbearable, Maverick tugged my sleeve. "Come with me," he said, and I followed him up a narrow stairwell to the rooftop. The night air hit me like a blessing. Cool, crisp, with the city lights stretching out like fireflies. Maverick leaned against the railing, lighting a cigarette. He didn't offer me one. He knew I didn't smoke. But he did blow out the smoke in a way that made me stare at his mouth longer than I should have. "You look good tonight," he said suddenly, turning to me. I blinked. "What?" I said, "You look good." His smile was slow, dangerous. "You always do, but tonight," he let the sentence hang. My face burned, and before I could reply, he stepped closer. His body heat mixed with the cold night breeze. For a second, it felt like he might kiss me right there under the stars. But the door banged open and someone stumbled onto the rooftop, laughing too loudly, and Maverick just smirked at me instead. When we went back inside, the music seemed louder, the crowd thicker. Maverick guided me through with his hand on the small of my back. His touch lingered longer than necessary. Then we slipped into a side hallway. Dark, quiet, just a dim golden light buzzing above us. The noise of the party was muffled, like we'd stepped into another world. That's when it happened. Maverick stopped, turning to me. I opened my mouth to ask what was wrong, but he stepped forward, too close. My back hit the wall. His chest pressed against mine. And then his lips brushed my neck. It wasn't a kiss. Not exactly. Just the warmth of his breath. The faint scrape of his stubble against my skin. But it shattered me. My knees went weak, my fingers curling against the wall for balance. "Maverick," I breathed. "Sure," he whispered, his voice rough. "Do you feel that?" I nodded, but I wasn't sure if he meant his lips on my neck or the wild pulse hammering between us. His hand slipped my side, fingers digging lightly into my waist. "You're shaking," he murmured. "You like this, don't you?" I hated how easily the truth spilled from me. "Yes." He chuckled, low and dark, before finally pressing his lips to my neck. Not just breath this time, soft, slow, devastating kisses. My whole body arched toward him, like he was gravity and I was just falling. That was when I knew. My body wasn't mine anymore. It belonged to him. I couldn't take it anymore. I turned my head, desperate, and suddenly our mouths crashed together. His kiss was hungry, claiming. I'd kissed people before, but nothing like this. Nothing that made me feel like the ground was falling away beneath me. He pinned me harder against the wall, his hand tangling in my hair, his breath ragged against my lips. I clung to him, nails digging into his shirt. For once, I didn't care if someone saw us. The whole world could have walked down that hallway, and I wouldn't have pulled away. When the kiss finally broke, I was panting, my chest heaving against his. Maverick rested his forehead against mine, still so close I could feel his breath. "You're mine now," he whispered, and I didn't even try to deny it, because he was right. My body, my heart, my everything, it wasn't mine anymore. It was his. We slipped back to the rooftop later, when the party was winding down. The city was quieter, the stars brighter. I leaned against him, my head on his shoulder, still dazed from everything that had happened. He wrapped his arm around me, pulling me closer. "You okay?" he asked softly. I nodded, better than okay. And for the first time all night, I felt completely at peace. Because Maverick had kissed me, touched me, breathed me in, and given me no choice but to surrender. And I didn't want my body back. Not ever.